The third year of saving money to buy David a hearing aid, I fell ill. He shed tears of distress, saying he wanted to marry me. Then, I saw him lighting the sky lantern at the auction. 50 million to bid on his ex-girlfriend's painting, helping her gain fame in the country. 100 million to secure a world-class designer's one-of-a-kind necklace as a wedding-crashing gift. Someone asked, David, when are you planning to tell Laura about your wedding-crashing plan? David scoffed, not telling. She's too well-behaved. I'm afraid she might do something drastic if she can't handle it. Turns out the poverty was fake, and the hearing impairment was fake too. I remained silent for a moment, wiping away my tears. David, you're wrong. I won't die for you. My political vetting period has passed. I'm done playing with you. One in front of the private room, a group of spoiled rich kids were jeering below. David, you've been pretending to be deaf for 3 years. Could it be you actually fell for Laura? Someone interjected. No way. That kind of girl is just for fun. If he brought her home, wouldn't David's dad break his legs? And clearly you don't get it. Playing deaf means you can do whatever you want in bed. Right, David. The man surrounded by the crowd tilted his head slightly, letting those below light his cigarette for him. Completely at ease, as if born to be pampered like this, he responded with a faint hum. After indulging in rich feasts, having some plain porridge and pickles occasionally is quite refreshing. My sweetheart can work 2 jobs a day for me. Yet my heart went numb, the paralysis spreading to all 4 limbs. Suddenly I remembered David was a man of heavy appetites. I always can't stand his antics in bed. It's even reached an unbearable point. A few weeks ago when I was exhausted and fell ill, he still pestered me to try all sorts of techniques. Said exercise helps with sweating it out. He never respected me, neither my body nor my dignity. Laura's got something special to keep David sleeping with her for free this long. David, did you ever try that move all guys love with your girl? A few days ago I tried it with this actress. Absolutely mind-blowing. The words were too vulgar. I barely had the courage to keep listening. I fled in panic. David bit his cigarette, smiling silently. The guy had no tact, his remarks growing increasingly outrageous. He didn't notice at all that the private room had gradually fallen silent. Only his voice remained. After the second round, the man at the head of the table slowly raised his eyes to look at the one spouting nonsense. Someone nearby immediately lowered their voice to warn him. Are you out of your mind? How dare you talk about my wife like that? Can't you see David is angry? He finally noticed the displeasure on the man's face, quickly apologizing. David, I was wrong. You know I've always had a loose tongue. The man responded with a faint hum. Before the other could relax, the cigarette butt was pressed into his mouth with deliberate force. David curled his lips. Next time, will you remember to guard your tongue? The crowd gasped in shock. The man had blisters in his mouth from the scalding, yet dared not make a sound. He could only nod frantically. If anyone dares to spill the beans in front of Laura. His amorous peach blossom eyes narrowed slightly, sweeping across the room with a faint warning. But everyone present understood his meaning perfectly. After the warning, he turned on his phone. Once outside, I wanted to light a cigarette, but the raindrops kept hitting the lighter, and the flame wouldn't catch. A message from David came through. Sis, didn't you say you had a surprise for me today? Why aren't you here yet? As soon as I spoke, the cold wind rushed into my throat, making me cough several times. The cigarette was lit just then, its smoke stinging my eyes until they turned red. Where are you? Send me your location, I'll come find you. I stared blankly at the bus stop sign. Traffic's jammed. Can't make it today. After sending the message, I sat quietly on the bench waiting. The No. 13 bus won't come for another half hour. Today is David's birthday. I rushed over right after finishing work. The original plan was to give David his present, spend some time with them, then conveniently head home together. The rain soaked my clothes, weighing down my right pocket. I looked down at the angular bulge in my pocket. It was meant to be David's surprise, a Swiss-made hearing aid. If this were a TV drama, the heroine would probably hurl the whole box into the trash with dramatic flair. The acting was terrible. 300,000 yuan. The poor guy would never throw that away. The rain seemed to be falling harder. I wiped away my tears, but they quickly fell again. When David returned, he pouted coquettishly with grievance. It's my birthday today, how come you're so busy? He kissed my earlobe as usual, until he found my lips. I turned my head away without interest. His movements froze as he instinctively furrowed his brows. What's wrong? Is it still hurting there? He always said this, yet never showed any restraint. Driven by excitement, he threw all caution to the wind, behaving like a spoiled child who'd just gotten his favorite toy. I simply chalked it up to men's inherent vulgarity in bed. But I've forgotten one saying. A person with poor bedroom manners won't have good character either. Looking at this face I've seen countless times. Suddenly I remembered how a friend once described him. David has those peach blossom eyes that look tenderly even at dogs. You think he's being affectionate, but in truth, he hasn't even invested a single thought. I really wanted to ask him directly. Did you have fun playing with me? Young master, did you get a special sense of satisfaction and achievement watching this commoner dance to your tune? But once the mask is off, there would be arguments, there would be confrontations. I'm so tired, really exhausted. I want to sleep, but I still have work to do. So I found an excuse. Sorry, it's that time of the month. Alright, get some good rest tonight. David stood on the balcony, gazing deeply at the figure in the bedroom. He let out a mocking laugh, as if not preparing a gift for him wasn't enough. Since when did he not know that her period could come a whole week early? He was about to go in and ask her what was wrong. On the phone, Mary sent a message. Hey, my painting is up for auction. Where are you? David pinched the bridge of his nose, then smiled and planted a kiss on my forehead. Sis, I need to go out for something. Too much has happened these past few days. I've been so swamped with work lately, and on top of that, I caught a chill from the cold wind. I nodded absent-mindedly, just wanting him to leave quickly. My head felt slightly feverish, just as I was about to take a rest. David hadn't been gone long when my phone suddenly rang. Laura, emergency. My mom suddenly got appendicitis and was hospitalized. I need to go see her. Can you cover my shift at tonight's auction for me? I'm in a bit of a bind, Hannah. I'm feeling a bit feverish. Please, I heard some big shots are coming tonight. The supervisor won't approve leave if they find I left my post without permission. I'll get fired. Besides, we're on the same team. They'll dock both our performance bonuses. We'll split tonight's commission 50-50. Alright then. I pulled myself together, grabbed my work clothes, and hurried to the venue. Laura, you weren't here earlier. You missed all the drama. Mary's national painting with a starting bid of 1 million was bought by her mysterious ex-boyfriend for 50 million. That painting isn't even worth $500,000. Lucky her, having an ex who throws money around like it's nothing. I rarely participate in these discussions. Even if it's true, it's still their skill, the ability to make people spend money on them. Gazing at that face as pure as a lotus emerging from clear water, I couldn't help but look at my own exhausted reflection. Beneath the thick layers of foundation lay dark circles, layer upon layer of bluish-black shadows. She's only 23. When they saw me changing into my work uniform, my colleagues looked puzzled. Laura, isn't today your day off? You're not covering for Hannah again, are you? She must be going on a date. If she keeps doing this, all the commissions should rightfully be yours. Alright, I'll definitely refuse next time. I didn't explain much. The second half began, which was originally Hannah's shift. I cleared my throat, put on the golden mask, and stepped onto the stage. I introduced the first auction item to the guests below. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting now is the world-class one-of-a-kind heart-protecting lotus starting bid, 15 million. Bidding begins from the floor, 20 million, 22 million. This is a world-class rarity. I bid 30 million. This price is indeed considered high. Those present thought the necklace was surely his. I raised the gavel, 30 million, going once, 30 million, going twice. Just as I was about to knock for the third time, an all too familiar voice drifted down leisurely from the second floor. 100 million. My heart skipped a beat. Holy shit, it's David. David is here too. Someone shouted. I couldn't tell who, and everyone's gaze turned toward the second floor. TSK, when David makes a move, it's always the Sky Lantern bid. Who could possibly compete with him? Who'd dare try? I lifted my eyes toward the voice. In an instant, all those memories from countless days and nights flooded into my mind. Sis, you're working so hard. I promise I'll take good care of you at home from now on. Sis, I'm so useless. I can't believe I'm making you support me. Thanks for the 1314 red envelope you sent me, sis. The man's coquetry overlapped with his current voice. Do all staff members enjoy staring at guests' faces? Due to a mild fever, his voice was 2 shades hoarser than usual. David didn't recognize it was me. Yan, bring the competitor products to David and Mary. My colleague whispered to remind me. I blinked, my eyelids burning with heat. My body reacted faster than my brain, already heading upstairs with the competitor products in hand. Oh my, why is it taking so long? On the second floor sat another woman, casually crossing her legs. This was the heiress of the Chin family, and also David's ex-girlfriend who had recently returned from studying abroad. She picked up the necklace that sparkled with fiery brilliance under the lights and exclaimed in admiration. David, so beautiful. David smiled lightly at her. This kind of beauty, only I can give you. Are you really going to marry that loser? Mary pouted slightly. Then will you come to stop the wedding that day? Watching their flirtatious behavior, the overlapping images before my eyes seemed to multiply. My body staggered slightly, the high heels tilting backward with the movement. With a loud clang, the tray fell to the ground, startling Mary. I tumbled down the red silk carpet on the stairs all the way to the first floor. The metal mask struck the corner of the staircase against my forehead, the pain piercing to the core. David swiftly wrapped his arm around the woman's waist and frowned. What's her name? He had noticed this girl for a while now. Even through a mask, he could feel her gaze lingering on him. She must be just like all those other women trying to latch onto him. Crying. Disgusting. A colleague was about to explain for me, but the man waved them off. Does this auction house hire just any random stray off the street now? Your so-called professionalism makes me question your competence. Forget it. Just fire them. The colleague didn't dare speak another word. If David got truly upset, she might get dragged into this mess too. This job wasn't easy to come by. Struggling to get up from the ground, my lips trembled as I tried to form words of explanation and apology. I remembered how a year ago, I had overcome numerous obstacles to secure this job opportunity. David, I found a high-paying job, $15,000 a month. You're amazing, sis. In the end, he lowered his eyes and apologized. I'm sorry, it was my mistake. As he bent forward in a bow, his mask loosened and began to slip. Instinctively, I reached out to catch it. Blood from his forehead dripped through the hollow patterns, mixing with transparent fluid. The manager rushed over and immediately tried to smooth things over when he saw the scene. David, this is an auspicious start. Your career will surely be smooth sailing this year. David's assistant standing nearby coldly interjected. Are you suggesting my young master needs to borrow luck from commoner's blood? Mary was feeling rather upset. Forget it, David. There's no point wasting time on people like this. 6 in the office. The manager shook his head and sighed. Laura, really now? If you're sick you should rest properly. We can't afford to mess with David, you know. This girl consistently had the highest performance in the team, quiet but diligent. What a pity. If she'd stayed another year or so, she could have reached his position too. Hannah didn't dare look at me. I accept this outcome. It's truly my fault for not knowing how to say no. As I passed Hannah, I added, don't forget to transfer the money. Even after falling like this, you still care about such a small amount of money. Hannah muttered under her breath as the rain outside started up again, not too heavy. No need to borrow from the bank anymore, since I'm not going back. I took off my coat and held it over my head as I ran toward the bus stop, dragging my weary body back to the apartment. The lights were on inside. David had returned. I thought you were going to sleep. What were you doing outside? How did you get so soaked? He pulled me down to sit and began drying my hair. I'm too tired to even sign. My gaze drifts blankly to the pair of couples necklaces on the dressing table. That was the first gift David ever gave me. Back then, there was a promotion on Douyin, 99 yuan for 2. The cheap silver chain had rusted from the damp rainy season. I lowered my head, twirling a lock of hair, then suddenly spoke. I got fired. I can't support you anymore, David. Maybe we should break up. After saying this, I stared intently at him, wanting to see his reaction. A flicker of panic flashed through his eyes as he was about to respond, but he quickly caught himself and pointed to his ear. I closed my eyes, struggling to control my trembling body. At this point, David, why are you still pretending? I shook my head, signaling it was nothing. Yet he pressed on. Did something unpleasant happen at work? It's just a job. He wants to act, and I can't be bothered to expose him. Let's not waste our anger on idiots, okay? By the way, didn't you say you had good news to tell me? He held me and gently rocked me. Good news. I wiped away my tears and smiled. Yes, I almost forgot. 7. The text message notified me that the political review public notice period has passed. I'm leaving too, but there's no need for him to know now. I took a quick shower and lay down on the bed. Sis, what's the good news? I didn't reply, nor did I notice, the moment I took my clothes into the bathroom. The man's expression turned cold. Assistant, help me find out where Laura has been working recently, and who she's had conflicts with. Every detail, I want it all sent to me. Laura had been very distant with him lately. He wanted to, but seeing her curled up like that, he didn't insist. Then, he furrowed his brows and brushed aside the girl's bangs. On her smooth forehead, there was a small bruise. My breath hitched. As he leaned down, I silently chanted, go away, go away. But fate had other plans. After taking a cold shower, he climbed into bed too. A hand slipped around my waist. I frowned, trying to push him away. The man drawled a warning. Keep struggling and we won't just be sleeping under the covers. The implication of his words needed no explanation. I didn't dare move again, letting him hold me in his arms. 8. When I woke up again, I was nearly startled. David was sitting by the bed, holding a square box in his hand and smiling at me. Sis, what's this? Inside was a hearing aid I had specially ordered for him from abroad. 300,000. Actually, a decent hearing aid could be bought for just over 10,000. But because I cared for him deeply, I always wanted to get him the best. And it took me a full 3 years to earn that 300,000. Even during the times when the pressure nearly suffocated me, I never told David about it. Because I didn't want my love to become his burden. I took it back without even looking at him. Stuff I bought for a colleague. He rubbed his nose and put it down with feigned nonchalance. I thought it was a gift from my sister. 9. I'd nearly forgotten if he hadn't mentioned it. This hearing aid is a custom-made product, non-refundable and non-exchangeable unless there are quality issues. Still struggling with how to handle it. A distant relative's son in the family group chat was hit by a car while buying exercise books outside school and lost his hearing. The college entrance exams are less than 2 weeks away, and now they're borrowing money in the group chat to buy a hearing aid. He had good grades. I stared at the exquisite box and pondered for 3 seconds. I mocked myself. It's not like I could use it anymore anyway. As luck would have it, that kid was studying nearby. Before heading out, David pressed again. Big sister, where are you going? I brushed him off, not noticing the disappointment in his eyes behind me. 10. The boy was particularly reserved and could tell at a glance this item wasn't cheap. Big sister, I can't accept this. I insisted on pushing it into his hands. Even if you don't want it, I can't return it now, it's custom made. His face turned bright red, presumably from embarrassment. Truth be told, I didn't have much interaction with his family, so it must have been awkward for him. If you really feel uneasy about this, just consider it a loan. Study hard, land a good job someday, and you can pay me back little by little. You're smart. I believe you can definitely do it, right? While I was declining, someone grabbed my wrist and pulled me up. It was David. When he saw the familiar box, He refused to accept it. Isn't this what you gave me? You're giving it to him? What do you mean? Seeing my silence, he gripped my shoulders even tighter. Laura, speak. What was there to say? I looked at him calmly. He lost his hearing by accident. He's taking the college entrance exam next year. He really needs this. David didn't understand. What does his hearing loss have to do with me? Did I cause it? The young boy looked uneasy. Though he couldn't hear, he probably understood we were arguing about this thing. He hurriedly explained, brother, this sister led it to me. Later, I'll work hard to earn money and pay her back. Shut up. Did I ask you? David turned his head and shouted at Brian. How can you be so shameless? Is this for you? My heart slowly sank. So arrogant. He couldn't empathize with those who truly needed help. Right? If he had any empathy, would he have deceived me with something like this? Laura, give me the hearing aids, you bought them for me. I didn't hand them over, just watched coldly as this young master threw his tantrum. Seeing I ignored him, he went off to torment Brian instead, grabbing someone by the collar and demanding, what trick did you use to get Laura to give you this? And why were you blushing just now? She's my girlfriend. His noise was giving me a headache. Enough, David. Haven't you played this game long enough? 11. His face suddenly turned pale as he snapped back to reality. Laura hadn't been using sign language at all this whole time. Rather, she spoke, and there wasn't a trace of surprise in her eyes, as if she had known all along. He struggled to speak, wanting to explain. Laura, but I didn't want to hear another word. How annoying. David, you don't need to explain. As you can see, I've known for a while now. The make-believe game ends here. 12. The whole way back, he kept trying to explain things to me. David, where were you all this time? I'm stretching every minute of my day. What was he doing? He was out partying non-stop for 3 days and nights, sleeping till noon, then coming to pester me. What was he doing when I stayed up all night to earn money for his hearing aid? He was lighting the sky lanterns for others, bidding 50 million on something with a starting price of 1 million. Who in attendance would dare compete with this young master? How impressive David is, throwing money around like it's nothing. Thinking back on everything, I realized I was a fucking idiot. I pushed him away and screamed in utter breakdown. David, what did I ever do wrong to deserve meeting you? All the pent-up emotions from these days finally erupted. My voice choked with emotion. Tell me, what did I do wrong? Did you enjoy watching me dance to your tune? His tone was feeble. Laura, I never meant to play with you. Then why? Looking at his speechless expression, I suddenly felt all my strength leave me. David, just go. My humble abode can't accommodate someone of your stature. He raised his hand slightly, as if wanting to wipe away my tears. I pushed him away through tears. Go. I'm begging you. Just go, okay? After the big fight, my already throbbing headache from the low-grade fever grew even worse. In my dazed state, I vaguely remember someone carefully helping me sit up and giving me a sip of warm water. Laura, I won't agree to break up. A message suddenly popped up on the phone. It's a reminder to register. 12. David wanted to see. My heart tightened, and I immediately locked my phone. He froze in place, unfazed, and patted my head. Sis, I won't force you. Calm down for a moment. I'm going out. Let's deal with this after we get back, okay? Just now, Weibo also recommended an entertainment news piece about Mary getting married. The Square's big screen is playing it on loop again today. I know. He's going to stop the wedding. I nodded casually. Then give me a kiss. These past few days you've been so distant with me. Don't you love me anymore? He turned his face aside, full of anticipation. Helpless, I closed my eyes and kissed his cheek. Send him off early, and I can leave early too. He suddenly turned his head and captured my lips fiercely. I struggled, but he had anticipated it, gripping the back of my neck to keep me still. I hit him, and he took the opportunity to squeeze in, intertwining his fingers with mine. After a lingering kiss, he pressed his forehead against mine and whispered tenderly, Sister, wait for me to come back. I sneered inwardly. So you want me to wait until you return, to upgrade me from backup number 3 to official number 3, is that it? 13. As soon as David left, I rushed to the bathroom to wash my face, hoping to rinse away the disgust along with it. I checked my ID card, passport, and other essential documents. As I closed the door, the plain ring on my ring finger knocked against the door handle. It was a gift from David for our 1-year anniversary, also costing 99 yuan. Meaning, forever and ever. I lowered my gaze and expressionlessly took it off, placing it together with the keys at the entrance. You can give your forever and ever to someone else. I don't want it anymore. 14. At the wedding venue, David practically ran over from the entrance. Someone joked, David's so worried Mary might marry someone else. David paused, thinking of the one waiting at home. He shook his head with a smile. No, I came today to make it clear to everyone your sister-in-law will be Laura. And it can only be Laura. He had already made up his mind. After saying this, he would go back and confess to Laura, then propose. With that, he turned his gaze to today's main character Mary. Mary, if you truly like him, I won't stand in your way. The woman's face froze. For his wedding crashing today, she had deliberately switched to flat shoes. David looked down and paused for a moment when he saw them. Of course, if you don't like it, I can help you one last time, no strings attached. Mary curled the corner of her lips. He comes from a good family too. Never mind then. David nodded. That's fine then. I'll go find my sweetheart first. He turned to leave but was stopped by his friend. David, at least have a drink before you go. Laura has been in a really bad mood lately. Forget it, give her some time to cool down. 15. During the banquet, someone suddenly exclaimed, "Holy shit, my little sister made it big, she ranked second in the civil service exam. Today's meal is on me. Get out of here, you're trying to play host at someone else's wedding. But congratulations anyway, shouldn't you treat your little sister to a proper feast?" "Absolutely, my sister's been working herself to the bone lately." Everyone offered congratulations and playful teasing. David laughed. If my sweetheart had taken the exam, she'd have come in first place. The man stopped laughing and cautiously probed. "David, you didn't know. Your wife was the top scorer." David's brow twitched, his heart skipping a beat. Something seemed to be slipping beyond his control. Seeing his genuine ignorance, the man picked up his phone and began scrolling through it. The circle included both businesspeople and, naturally, those in politics. If it weren't for his sister taking the civil service exam this year, he wouldn't have noticed these details. Her name was easy to spot, just 2 characters, standing out conspicuously. There it was, appearing right in the first column. The position column read Village Party Branch Secretary, Laura. There were even photos, 16. Meanwhile, the information I had asked my assistant to look into earlier had been uncovered. "David, it's bad. Miss Jiang, speak." The man's tone was sharp, making the assistant answer immediately. "Miss Jiang knows your identity." David frowned. How could she possibly know? Subconsciously, he began retracing his steps over the past few days. Because the auctioneer who fainted and fell down the stairs that day was your sister-in-law. David's face suddenly froze, recalling that day, the bruise on her forehead, and the gaze he had sensed. Not clingy and disgusting. It was nostalgic, agonizing to the extreme. As Laura watched him give another woman a necklace worth hundreds of millions, what was she thinking? He didn't dare to think further. Then Laura tumbled straight down from the 2nd floor. How he did it, he fired her. How this job came to be, he knew better than anyone. For a time, Laura constantly studied and memorized all kinds of professional knowledge. Even in her sleep, she muttered incessantly, but he didn't notice what kind of work she was doing. David only knew that he was in a terrible mood right now. An extremely, utterly terrible mood. Kicking the desk, he shouted, "Since when do you just open up when I tell you to?" The manager muttered to himself, "Do rich people all have something wrong with their brains? Didn't you realize how impatient your expression was that night? I almost thought Laura was your sworn enemy." Of course he didn't dare to say anything, just kept apologizing non-stop. David looked at the duty roster and suddenly frowned. Wait a minute, who's Hannah? That night, wasn't she on duty? Why was it Laura? The manager had no choice but to bring the person over. The man tapped his fingers intermittently on the desk. "I heard you always make Laura cover your shifts, so that's why my darling is always so exhausted, coming home completely worn out. It's all your fault, isn't it?" Hannah stammered out in explanation. "Yes, but my mom." David raised his hand to stop her. "Fine, if you don't want to work shifts, then don't come in at all from now on." Hannah's face turned pale with fright. She usually did make excuses to have Laura cover her shifts, but that day some VIPs were coming. She wasn't foolish enough to hand such a major opportunity to Laura. She worked so hard to get this job in the first place. She immediately dropped to her knees in fright, pleading with the manager. "Manager, that day my mother really had appendicitis. I had no choice." This time her tears were genuine. "That money was for my mother's surgery fees. Manager, please help me beg for mercy." The manager had his own troubles to worry about and simply waited for someone to pack up her belongings and escort her out. 17. The village was surrounded by mountains on all sides. This place was truly impoverished. Even bathing required fetching water from the big well and carrying it back. We washed our clothes together by the stream. Perhaps because of all the hardships I'd endured before, I adapted to this place faster than expected. I threw myself wholeheartedly into poverty alleviation work. I worked alongside my superiors to plan the village's development path. Occasionally, I still visit these children to tutor them, though this place is remote, far from the city. But it excels in its abundant lychee harvest. The villagers also worry despite the high yield, they can't sell it all, and the rest goes to waste. I suggested live streaming sales. Nowadays, many agricultural products rely on this method as their main sales channel. The villagers always make sure we have hot meals after finishing our work. "Young ladies and lads, you've worked hard." They felt honored that we could come here. My colleague and I kept waving our hands. "It's our duty, our duty." 18. But for several days in a row, there were hardly any viewers in the live stream. I've tried paid promotions, but they yielded minimal results. Just as the lychees were about to ripen, I found myself overwhelmed with anxiety. On the 7th day, traffic suddenly poured into my live stream. I thought it was official platform support. The screen was flooded with Yin Niu Jia rocket ship special effects in succession, endlessly. Not only was I shocked, even my colleagues couldn't believe it. This kind of spectacle has never been seen before, even by influencers with tens of millions of followers. Dear netizen, if you accidentally pressed it by mistake, please contact our back-end assistant for a refund. He didn't speak, which puzzled me. "Hello, are you still there, netizen?" A voice chat request popped up. Within just those few minutes, the live stream's viewer count had steadily climbed to over 10,000. People on the public screen were all curious about who this mysterious figure was, having already gifted around 200,000 to 300,000 yuan worth of presents since the livestream started. After approving the request, my smile froze. That face, I wouldn't mistake it even if my bones were ground to ashes. David. He smirked. Long time no see, sis. The livestream viewer count surged to 100,000 the moment David showed his face. Young master is so handsome, aha. Not only is the young master rich, but he's also so sexy his voice makes my legs go weak, aha. Laura, what's wrong? Do you know this person? I shook my head, trying to appear unaffected as I continued introducing things to everyone. Bending down to pick up the lychees, I noticed my fingers were trembling. It was beyond my control. A colleague noticed my intense physical reaction and briefly explained to the online audience before taking over the broadcast for me. 19. I had thought this farce would end quickly. Marketing accounts caught the scent of trending traffic, and within moments, dozens of videos sprouted like bamboo shoots after rain. My relationship with David was also dug up by people. Damn, can the young master please chase me? I don't need 99 spaceships and rockets, just one is enough for me. Young master, where do you think this old servant should be tied up? Your orders are my command. Born to toil, with such a wealthy ex-boyfriend, yet she chose to break up and run off to the mountains to buy lychees. Does she even know what she's doing? Some even dug up my barefaced photos and freely commented, "Ah, she's just average looking. What does the young master see in her?" So even young masters can fall for ordinary girls. Sisters, go for it boldly, you might just meet one with bad taste. Some netizens speculated that I did it on purpose. Maybe she did it intentionally. The young master's ex-girlfriend is Mary. How can she compare? She has to make a scene just to get him to look at her twice. These comments received an unusually high number of likes, which means many people actually think this way. The village chief saw these comments and got angry too. How can this young man be so petty? They've already broken up, yet he's still clinging on like this. Laura, don't pay attention to these things. You've worked hard these past few days. Maybe take a break from live streaming for a while. I was annoyed too, but the popularity was clearly rising now, so I might as well ride this wave of traffic. The live stream continued as usual. I tried to convince myself not to read the hateful comments. Some people even went out of their way to cause trouble, ordering lychees online only to refuse delivery and return them with various excuses. Before I could even deal with these issues, David showed up. 20. I had no idea how he even found this place. I had no intention of entertaining him and moved to shut the door in his face. Yet he swiftly wedged his foot in the door jamb. Instantly, those beautiful hands worthy of being hand models turned red and swollen. I took a deep breath. Give me your hand. Sis, it hurts. He cried out before the antiseptic even touched his hand. I glared at him. Keep whining and you can do it yourself. He fell silent, but the quiet didn't last long before his fingers brushed my cheek. You've lost weight. I stood up reflexively. The potion was knocked over onto the floor, his uninjured hand frozen midair. Afterward, I went to work while he waited outside for me. Someone who could never sit still had been staying put these past few days. After several days, I finally couldn't hold back anymore. When are you leaving? Every time I brought up this topic, he would either evade the question or change the subject. At 21, only after the college entrance exams ended did Brian discover that Laura was being vilified online. The language was utterly vile. He wanted to log on and confront these bandwagon critics. Suddenly, it occurred to him. After the college entrance exams ended, he delivered a speech as the student representative. The hall was filled with countless cameras. Today's speech was being broadcast live. After the formalities, Brian adjusted the microphone. Lastly, I'd like to thank my cousin's elder sister, the girl who's recently been at the center of online controversy. After the college entrance exams, I saw the cyberbullying she endured from many netizens. I want to say, she's not at all what people claim her to be. On the contrary, she's a genuinely good person. Before the college entrance exams, I lost my hearing, and she lent me the hearing aid she had spent over 100,000 yuan to buy. This hearing aid was originally something she had worked tirelessly to save up for her boyfriend, only to discover he had been deceiving her. Her boyfriend came from a wealthy family, yet he stood by and watched her work multiple jobs to support him. The students in the audience buzzed with discussion. Obviously they knew too. No way, is that true? The homeroom teacher couldn't abruptly go up and pull him down. She kept giving him meaningful looks, but he completely ignored them. Finally, I want to say that one of life's greatest lessons is learning not to follow the crowd blindly. I say this to myself, to everyone present here, and to all the netizens watching through their screens. 22. Before the awards ceremony even concluded, new videos began circulating in rapid succession. Brian continued fueling the fire by uploading high-definition photos of the hearing aid to social media. There was a tiny inscription at the top: Laura loves David 1314. Once uploaded, it instantly topped the trending charts. Public opinion about Laura online did a complete turnaround. Those in the know immediately recognized it as an imported item from abroad. She found the store. An insider said, this girl paid the deposit in the first year, and it took her 2 years of saving to pay off the remaining amount. Others traced the timeline and uncovered what happened at the auction house that day. Someone was there that day just for the spectacle and even recorded a video. At the time, it didn't gain much attention, so not many people knew about it. Now, with the photos going viral, the views skyrocketed overnight. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how heartbroken the girl must have been when she found out. She worked hard for 3 years to save up for hearing aids for a boyfriend, thinking he'd be surprised and happy, only to realize he never needed them in the first place. It's beyond disappointment, it's utter despair. Still bowing and apologizing, that girl's life is so hard. Hey, jerk, come out and apologize. Did you hear me? I'm telling you to apologize at David. At David, apologize. At David, can you hear me? Apologize now. Those who had earlier jokingly called themselves old servants fell silent. Some even went to the official Weibo account of Chi Corporation to voice their demands. 23. David's actions had already sparked massive public outrage. Father Chi had a headache and wanted his assistant to bring the person back. He still hadn't given up and wanted to take me with him. Sis, come back with me. What a lunatic. I ignored him and turned to leave. Everything suddenly went dark before my eyes. Damn bastard. That son of a bitch drugged me. When I woke up again, I was already in the car. Outside the window, the scenery remained all too familiar. Now, we probably haven't left the village yet. I struggled, but he pressed down on me with just the right amount of force. Sis, whatever issues we have, let's solve them back home. Let me go. He buried his face in the crook of my neck without responding. Sister, let's get married when we go back. This is illegal. Let me go. I fumbled for the hairpin on my head and pressed it against his neck. David, let me go. Don't make me do this. This is a handmade gift from the village children. I've been wearing it on my head ever since. Blood slowly seeped through. His eyes were filled with sickness, as if he lost all sense of pain. You're insane. I pressed my own hand against my throat. Let me go. Laura, I'm letting you go. David's face turned completely pale with fright, immediately ordering the driver to stop the car. Young master, the master said you must return to Hong Kong as soon as. I said stop the fucking car. The car came to a stop, and I hopped out. 24. Laura, do you really have to stay here? David still wouldn't give up. I suddenly stopped walking and answered him with another question. David, these past few days you keep saying you were wrong. You're not actually wrong. I was the one who was wrong. My mistake was being foolish. My mistake was being blind, failing to see your true identity as a young master. With me, there's no such thing as an unintentional mistake. Let me give you an example. You know slitting your wrists would kill you, so you wouldn't do it. But even though you knew it would hurt me, you still went ahead and did it, didn't you? David, we're both adults. You made your choice long ago. These words were undeniably cruel. Tears immediately welled up in his eyes, the corners turning crimson. I've said all there is to say. He remained silent and said nothing more. Nor did he try to stop me again. At the very last moment as I was leaving, he suddenly asked, if I slit my wrists, would you forgive me? I suddenly laughed. He was still trying to threaten me with suicide. For a privileged young master like him, he never thought he was in the wrong. Now he only feels that I might truly be leaving. He never considered that what he deceived wasn't just my feelings, but also the youthful energy of my heart. Back then I kept telling myself, Laura, just hang in there a little longer. The hearing aids were finally purchased, and soon, her life with David would surely get better and better. Yet what I witnessed was him splurging recklessly at the auction house. Before he left, I called out to him again and spoke with self-deprecation. David, have all my efforts over these years just been a joke in your eyes? This question had actually been troubling me for a long time. Only by asking it out loud could I finally find relief. No, I shrugged. It doesn't matter anymore. The Laura who loved you is dead. She died in your endless lies. 25. Thanks to the attention this incident brought, lychee sales in the village were booming. But you can't ride one wave of popularity forever. My colleagues and I gradually learned how to operate the account. In short, we were busy with all sorts of things. For a long time, I didn't hear the name David again. Due to work requirements, I had to return to Harbor City for a task. My friend Eric welcomed me back. She told me, David committed suicide. Did you know, Laura? I paused mid-bite of my meat, then shook my head. Eric said he slit his wrists in the bathtub at home. She was a mutual friend of both me and David. Looking at David's half-dead state with concern, she seemed to want to persuade me to go see him. But she couldn't find a proper reason. Moreover, her family's funding chain had broken, and it was only through David's project support that they managed to stay afloat. No matter what, she owed David a favor. So throughout the entire dinner, she barely touched her food. As for me, my appetite was quite good. I took several bites off every dish. Watching her struggle for so long, I wiped my mouth. The purpose of initiating this dinner gathering first. I happen to have some free time these days, so I can go see him. Eric was delighted. Laura, are you serious? I nodded and smiled. Why would I lie to you? That's great. Thank you. Do you want me to go with you? No need. Just give me the address. 26. At this very moment, gazing at the luxurious facilities and impeccably clean floors, I have to admit, being rich is truly wonderful. Even though David attempted suicide and was hospitalized, he could still enjoy the finest medical environment. Those mountain folks wouldn't go to town for medical treatment unless they were seriously ill. I took a deep breath and pushed the door open. Inside the ward, the man lay on the hospital bed. Hearing the noise, he turned his head to look at me. Who are you? I pressed my lips together and walked toward him. I'm Laura. He must have really slit his wrists. His pale wrist was wrapped in thick gauze, faint pink stains seeping through. Which John? Which Yan? He cut his wrist, and then he lost his memory. I answered softly, Jian as in river, Yan as in Laura. But he retorted, you're not Laura at all. What do you mean? Laura is a heartless woman. He muttered under his breath, yet his eyes never left me for a second. She hates me so much, she wouldn't come to see me. You liar. For a moment, I was speechless, quietly lowering my gaze to look at him. David, stop pretending. I came to see you today, not because you actually slit your wrists, nor was it entirely because of my friend's persuasion. If I truly don't want to do something, no one can really talk me into it. David knew, so he quieted down too, his breaths growing shallow. I came to say goodbye. 27. Outside the window under the eaves, a tender sprout quietly squeezed its way through the tile cracks. With an inexplicable solitary courage, I smiled faintly, looking at him one last time. After this, I probably won't be coming back here. His eyelids fluttered slightly. When are you leaving? I remained silent, just watching him quietly. He twitched his lips, his tone bitter. Can't you even tell me this now? I nodded in admission. Yeah, because I didn't want you bothering me anymore. He laughed. Is that how you see me? I didn't answer. He asked again. Is that godforsaken place really that great? Suddenly I remembered David was a man of heavy appetites. Nowhere worth abandoning everything you have here. Abandoning me. I didn't point out how he instinctively blurted out this shithole. People accustomed to arrogance never realized this flaw. Hearing his question, images of the village children's innocent smiles surfaced in my mind. The villagers' simple and sincere concern made me nod in acknowledgement. It's wonderful here, the air is fresh, and the people are kind. David didn't say anything more. 28. After 6 years of grassroots work, Lizzie Village has now been completely transformed. I was honored as the most outstanding cadre, received a promotion, and was transferred back to the city this year. Before my departure, the villagers came to see me off with tears in their eyes. Laura, you've worked so hard all these years. Choking up slightly, I replied, it was my duty. Everyone, see you if fate allows. At this time, I was 29 years old. Friends teased that I would live a life of ease from then on. I smiled helplessly and retorted, don't jinx me. Serving the people is all the same. As for me, I've just changed locations, no difference at all. When she pushed open the door to the new office, a tall, slender figure stood by the floor-to-ceiling window. The person was wearing a men's uniform. A familiar voice rang out. Laura, long time no see. I'm your new colleague. Looking forward to working with you. The end.